Welcome or welcome back to Minding the Comments. My name is Christian, and today we'll discuss what am I healing in insomnia recovery. I'd like to thank everyone for posting questions and comments on the previous video. And this today's question comes from Psalms 91. It says, I struggle with the concept of what it is that I'm actually healing during insomnia recovery. Started sleeping in a separate bedroom from my spouse because snoring keeps me awake. My question is, do I force myself to sleep in the same bed and face that fear, even though it worsens the hyperarousal? Now, first of all, if you go back to previous video, you'll see that the question is a lot longer. So I just chopped it up in a couple of small pieces. So it'd be a little easier to read. But anyways, I would say the first thing is super common question. I think so many of us, including myself, have done this. I don't think my wife really snored, but what I noticed is any shift, any movement, her getting up, or even if she was very quiet, my my brain was monitoring and scanning the environment constantly. So any movement would keep me up. And so then we started sleeping in separate rooms because I felt like that's what I could handle at that time. So totally understandable that we've done this. But what I would also add is this is not so much about fixing sleep as it is about teaching your nervous system that there is no danger about being awake. Over time, the brain starts to rewire itself through repeated experiences. So the more we keep doing something and notice that there isn't a danger, there isn't a threat, there isn't anything that we need to do to fix or stop or protect ourselves from, that hyperarousal, that monitoring, that tracking starts to calm down. So that's really the approach, recognizing that there is no danger, no threat, nothing to fix. And so um, in the beginning, it can feel a little bit overwhelming, a little bit difficult, and that's okay. So I would say that the way we can actually slow our healing is by adding more pressure, pressure to do everything right, pressure to do things all at once. So the idea of forcing yourself back into bed sounds like a tremendous amount of pressure, right? Even using the word force, I'm going to force my way to get through this. But also at the other extreme, if we think about avoiding it forever, well, that's just going to keep the fear in place. So what do we do? What's the perfect response to this? So unfortunately, there is no perfect response. But what if we recognize that the snoring is something that is keeping us awake because we don't feel safe, that we feel a danger, that we feel a threat, that we're perceiving wakefulness as bad. And so, of course, if any noise wakes us up, the desire for us to stop that noise is totally human, totally natural. I remember when I was going through my recovery, we had neighbors that very randomly would let their dogs out early in the morning. I don't remember what time, but sometimes they'd bark and that would wake me up. Or I was either light sleeping or attempting to just lay and rest and go back to sleep, and I would immediately notice or focus on the barking. And so if I were to have gone over to my neighbor's house and said, hey, listen, do you mind if you keep your dogs in a little bit longer? And I don't know, let them out later. They're waking me up. I'm sure the neighbors would have said, yeah, no problem. We'll get that fixed. That would fix the problem of noise. Like in your case, snoring, right? Let's say if you, I don't know, put one of like a, I don't know, like a, one of those piece of tape you put on your, on your mouth for sleeping or whatever it is. But what if you were able to do something to fix your spouse's snoring? Well, that would feel good, but that would also make it a little bit tricky because now your brain would start to see noise as a danger, as a threat, as a problem. And it's really not humanly possible to stop all noise. So I understand that the desire right now is to how do I stop snoring? There's no need to stop snoring. There's no need to stop the dog barking. because it's the relationship that we have with that noise that's creating the problem. I'm not saying that we don't get woken up by noise, but our relationship with it means that it can become more difficult or it can just become a disturbance. And so if I were to um, hear the dogs and my relationship with that noise isn't a danger, isn't a threat. Oh, look, the dogs are out. That's okay. I don't need to do anything. I don't need to fix anything. No big deal. I can just lay down here and rest. Slowly, it starts to teach my brain that there isn't a danger. There isn't a threat with noise or dogs barking or anything, or in this case, snoring. Now, it can feel a little bit uncomfortable or unpleasant. And so, what if you looked at this as a situation that you can handle on a nightly basis? What if you went and slept in your room and maybe were woken up by snoring? And maybe you were there for a moment and you asked yourself, what would feel best for me right now? Would it feel best for me to just maybe go sleep in the guest room, which is available? Or is it okay for me to just lay here and rest? And treat every night with gentleness. Sometimes I'm sure that it's going to be a little bit more uncomfortable than other times. But notice that none of this is with pressure. None of it is with forcing anything, because that's where another conflict comes in and the hyperarousal comes up again. And so maybe understanding that our relationship with the noise is something that is incredibly helpful for us to recognize first. When we can look at the dog barking, our partner snoring, or somebody leaving the house early, or whatever the noise may be, when we look at it as something that isn't a danger, that isn't a threat, the nervous system starts to calm down. And then we actually start becoming immune to things around us, as opposed to trying to control it. And I think that is where the healing, when it comes to insomnia, truly begins. So take it one night at a time, like I mentioned, and recognize why your brain is in this struggle. And with time, with repetition, you'll notice that that hyperarousal softens, that the need to want to fix or control or do anything softens, and the recovery will happen. Just takes time. I hope this was helpful for you. I hope this answer helps you find comfort. And if you have any questions, follow-up questions, please feel free to post on the comment section below. That is all for today. Take care of yourselves, be patient, be kind with yourselves. Take care.
Hi, it's me, Daniel, and I hope you found a ton of value in the video that you just watched. As you can probably tell, we share everything freely on our YouTube channel about what leads us from insomnia to a place of peaceful sleep for the rest of our lives. But it can take some time and bandwidth to go through all the free content to find the answers to the questions that you have. And this is why we have already done curation for you in our Insomnia Immunity program and in BedTyme. So if you want to save some time and bandwidth, those are great options for you. In our Insomnia Immunity program, we have a video-based curriculum. In BedTyme, we have a text-based curriculum. Either way, what really matters is that the content is laid out in a logical fashion, in a stepwise fashion, where every step takes you closer to that place of peaceful sleep for the rest of your life. If this sounds like something you'd like to explore, head over to our website, thesleepcoachtool.com. And if you decide to join and let us guide you forward, we can't wait to see you on the other side.